Welcome to Tip Tuesday. This is Will, and I'm not going to be focusing on Print Builder this time. I'm actually going to talk just a little bit about scripting in IndySoft. And the first thing I want to tell you is a general disclaimer. For customers who are interested in using advanced scripting beyond our default configuration options, we provide a waiver and licensing at no cost. We do that as scripting is incredibly powerful and not something the majority of our customers need. And also, just adding on to that, it is very easy to make mistakes. And if if you're not feeling confident, you want to be really super careful with this stuff. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is scripting that is just generally available in our software. And the first place is in Print Builder. Those of you who've seen some of my other Print Builder items will remember seeing lots of stuff in here. And so, for example, we've got rich text formatting, which does wonderful, exciting stuff. When we're talking about scripting, we are in the context of Print Builder, we are talking about the Calc tab. So here we've got, something like memo1.lines.txt is assigned richtext1.richtext. So here, the big thing that I want to talk about is, first of all, this is, for all intents and purposes, Delphi syntax or Object Pascal syntax. You do want to be somewhat aware of this because all of our default certificates do have Calc tab logic in them. A lot of the custom reports that people end up building will have a little bit or sometimes a lot of Calc tab logic. And so this is just something that is available that lets you do a variety of very powerful things. We've got access to various objects. We've got hints on language features, so you can see a lot of what's available in here. So you can get the current date, you can get the current date time, you can get the current time, so on and so forth. So this is one area where scripting is available. It's not locked behind anything. You can just use it. The second area where scripting is just generally available is in the uncertainty module. And this is where you can start to see where some of the power comes in because, for example, you can do very complicated things like figuring out what are your degrees of freedom and using a student t-distribution instead of just a k=2. You can have contributing items that will calculate the standard deviation of your sample data. This syntax is VB script. For just stuff that's available to everybody, we have Delphi style syntax, we have VB script style syntax. And if you look over here on the right, you'll notice we've got all kinds of functions. These are not standard VB script. These are add-ons above and beyond that we've provided to you to help you do stuff without having to do lots of manual SQL, without having to do lots of complicated scripting, just to try and give you a quality of life, make things easier for you. So the first thing you want to take away at this point is we have two styles of scripting. We have VB script and we have Delphi scripting. If you register the scripting, the biggest place that you're going to see scripting is going to be in workflow config, and that's going to be in the custom rules. And you will see this, especially if IndySoft has done work for you. You may see a lot of custom rules in here. And so, again, this is going to be VB script syntax. And you'll notice now we have lots and lots and lots and lots of hints. So, we've got the ability to do SQL, which is both a curse and a blessing. We've got the ability to find out what your current or set your current currency symbol and do all kinds of lookups. This is probably the biggest area. However, what you will find out is we have scripting all over the place. So we have got in here, we've got the script review utility that can show you all the scripts in your system. We've got equipment custom rules. We've got work order custom rules. We've got template custom rules. They're all over the place, usually accessible in the particular area you're looking at. Script review lets you review everything. And so if I drag this down a bit, so you can see we've got event scripting, equipment scripts, template scripts, order system scripts, login scripts, uncertainty scripts, and on and on and on. So with these sections, you get a lot of power. It is primarily VB script. We've also got IndySoft data sync options. Here, you've actually got the ability to choose your syntax between VBScript and Pascal. And typically, my recommendation here is use whichever language has the features that are most useful to you. This is going to be beyond the bonus functions that we add, which are common in both. But if you're doing certain types of work, sometimes VBScript gives you better tools, sometimes Pascal gives you better tools. A final area is in system-wide script projects. And here's where I'm going to take a somewhat strong stance. So here, this is where we actually get the graphical design. And so you can see here that this is a T combo box, a T edit. These are all Pascal Delphi objects. And so my recommendation is that if you're doing any kind of GUI work here, that you choose the Pascal syntax. And the reason for this is because when you go to Google and you say, how do I use a T-combo box? How do I dynamically build the list in a T-combo box? How do I use a DB grid? How do I... In all of those scenarios, the code examples that you're going to get are going to be Delphi syntax. And so unless you want to see something like this and then have to rework it into VBScript syntax for absolutely everything, and then try to figure out whether your errors are because you did something in the translation or you just got a bad example, it's much easier if you just say, okay, we're doing the syntax that is native for these objects. There are times where VBScript is useful, but typically I will create a separate unit that has just very small chunks of code for the VBScript. Now, one other thing that's going to pop up is, this is great, this is wonderful, but how do I get information? Because there's a ton of stuff here, and it's not obvious at all how to find stuff. For that, we have all kinds of wonderful resources. One of my favorite resources is docs.indysoft.com, Advanced Scripting Guide. And this has just got all kinds of good information. It's got information on how event scripts work, how equipment scripts work. We have the vast majority of our functions logged, so for example, log error, it explains what this does. Indy message box explains what it does. So we've got lots of documentation here. If there's something that you think should be in here and isn't, let us know. Send us a support ticket. Next thing, Google. You can Google for Delphi DB Grid, and right here we have the official Delphi documentation on what a DB Grid is, but you can find videos and all kinds of other stuff as well. You can also use it for VB script. Another useful resource here is the doc, tmssoftware.com, and that is where the engine for both our project scripts and a lot of our VB script custom rules is located. So this can give you, in their documentation, you can actually get some useful information. I find that our own documentation tends to be more useful, but it's available. There's also the digital metaphors documentation on Print Builder, which has both some user guides and developer guides. Again, some of this information will not be helpful to you, but some of it can be extremely helpful. So that's just a short bit of information that I wanted to provide you. Hopefully you will find that helps you get started. And one more thing, IndySoft has training courses. If you want a training on how to use our scripting engines and work on this stuff, you can absolutely contact us and we can get you trained as well. Have a good day.